Since I launched my YouTube videos, I've had a lot of people send me messages about their experience in the SEAL. Some public Scientologists have made comment, and I'm getting mostly agreement that what I'm saying is true, but there are people that are conveying to me that when they were in the SEAL, that wasn't their experience. They thought that it was more freer than that. They're telling me, you said, Aaron, that we couldn't listen to music. And I'm getting emails back saying, well, we could listen to music. Yeah. Okay. And I just want to point out that, yes, I've painted this picture of the SEAL, which is quite dark, but try to understand something. I was in the Hubbard Communications office, and this staff member might have just been in Division 4 and just been doing fine for 2 years without much harassment. This is quite possible. I don't doubt it at all. But I think you'll find in general, all in all, that what I have said will hold true across the board here, because one person out of Division 4 says, well, you know, once I saw a staff member get into so much trouble that they had something done to them. So in their minds they're saying, well, I just saw it once. Well, I'd just like to point out that if you're at the Flag Land Base and there's 1,000 staff there, and you're closely working with 20 staff, and you see it happen to one staff member, that's 50 staff that are going through that. And people in the Hubbard Communications office are the ones that are always walking around the org, seeing these things and putting these things together. And that's why HCO staff are always burning out, because they're so exposed to the crap that goes on, you know. And, you know, just to point out something about Scientology is that the trap of Scientology started from keeping Scientology working Series 1. When you go to university and you're sitting there and the lecturer goes, right, we're going to have a lecture, we're going to discuss a technology. After he's discussed it, there's a question and answer. There's a debate regarding this. There is a growth of it. Now, many SEAL members, Scientologists and public can't understand why in their minds, but the student hat worked for me. The touch assist worked for me. The word clearing worked for me. So how can somebody tell me it's a bunch of bull? Okay? There's two answers to that. Firstly, Scientology is the only religion in the world that asks you to defend something you don't know. When you start Scientology, you can't read the Bible all at the start. You can only read a bit of it, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. So constantly, Scientologists are defending something they just don't know. They don't know what OT3 is. They don't know what OT5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the Sacred Special Briefing Course. They don't know it, and yet they're defending it. And the reason why they're doing this is because in keeping Scientology working Series 1, which is purported to be the saviour of Scientology, when in actual fact this policy letter is its death. This policy letter says from the word go, before you even know anything about Scientology, if you question it, you're against us. If you discuss it, you're against us. So you can read a policy letter, but you're not permitted to discuss it with another human being because it's called verbal technology. And when L. Ron Hubbard is lecturing, it's not like a university lecture. There is no Q&A. It's just, I'm telling you, and you go through hours of this. I'm talking to you, don't answer, don't think, don't ask me a question. I'm telling you this is the way it is. And keeping Scientology working, right from the word go, the first guy that walks into Scientology is slowly getting indoctrinated. He reads this policy, it says, don't think about it, no verbal discussions. If you experience past lives, you can't talk about it. Well, no wonder, because it's all bullshit. No wonder you can't talk about it. If it really was past life and it was really real, then it would be just as real as something we're experiencing now. So what would the difference be? So the trap is right there in keeping Scientology working Series 1. From the word go, you read it, and it's the first thing you read in any course, in any training in Scientology, and it keeps reinforcing to you, don't question what is written, do not discuss what is written, do not debate what is written. And eventually, after you do a couple of courses in Scientology, and even in the Sea Org, you can't talk about what you've just read. There is no questioning of it, because you know, according to keeping Scientology working, Series 1, that the moment you start to discuss it, it means that you do not 100% agree with it, unequivocally, and therefore according to that very same policy letter, you must have misunderstandings about it. And if you have misunderstandings about it, and you dare not clear those up, you're a suppressive person. But if there's something wrong with it, and you talk about it, if there's actually something wrong with the technology, you're also a suppressive person. There's only ever one answer. It's always right. And that trap is what gets them going. Here's the reality. Scientology was born in the 50s. It went and did some good things. And it did some bad things, because misapplication of it is a shocking thing to do to another person. Okay? What happened is L. Ron Hubbard got in trouble. And he had to leave. And he went on a boat in the mid-1960s. He went on a boat and created this thing called the Sea Organization, and he lost the plot. This is where he came up with his OT3 story, which, by the way, was a story written by Ron in 1953, I think, called Revolt in the Stars, which Hollywood refused to issue as a film. It was written before then. You know, there's even a video where L. Ron Hubbard is talking about Xenu from the early 50s. And he supposedly found this in 1967. Anyways, what I'm saying is that what really happened is that when he was on the boat, he created an extremist organization. And when they landed back in America and took charge, the world was told, the Sea Org is here to protect Scientology, and they are in charge of it. And everybody believed them. This is the lie. The Sea Org, in actual fact, has got nothing to do with Scientology, has its own creeds, its own policies, and its own doctrines, which they have nothing, they are not religious. And they hijacked Scientology and used Scientology as a method to accomplish their goals. So while you keep seeing people out there going, but the Sea Org is protecting Scientology, it's the other way around. Scientology is the vehicle for the Sea Org, not the Sea Org being the vehicle for Scientology. And they use all these activities, like applied scholastics and Narconon, to the Sea Org. It's just another activity that's implementing their ultimate goals. Look, people want to believe that Scientology is all about money. I'm sorry to disappoint you. It's far worse than that. It's not just about money, it's about control. Controlling your life, governments, and the way we live. And the Sea Org is just what they want in society on a small scale, and it's expanding. And when people realize that it's wrong to call Scientology a cult, it's not a cult. A cult is, by definition, a religion, a belief system, a godlike thing, practices and belief that are considered unorthodox or extreme, and often run or led by a charismatic leader. This is the definition of a cult.